It's time for Project Retro Rack update number 2. Gosh, that light's really flickery on the camera, isn't it? It's completely stable in real life. Just if I put it at a certain angle, it's really flickery. Huh. Well, that light belongs to my new power distribution unit, or PDU as it's known. It's basically a fancy plug bank, but I liked it because, check this out, I didn't realise from the pictures they actually had a little door on each of the switches. How cute's that? Also, it's got a bit marked already. Oh dear. And as ever, what am I on about? Of course, the switches, they light up. Something that I've noticed actually is that whatever light fitting they've got in there gets quite warm to the touch. But never mind, we shan't worry too much about that. So let's switch some of these on. And you'll notice this has come on as well. So, my plan with the PDU is to have it go sort of down the rack. So number 1 will be this, which I'll talk about in a second. Number 2, well, in theory it won't be that, because that is supposed to be powered by the computers. So number 2 is currently that. And at present number 3 is this, but we'll get onto that. So yes, PDU, it's got kettle leads coming out the back. I won't bring the rack out because there's no point really, but it looks just like 8 of these. So simple as that really. And if you're wondering why number 8 is on, it's because I've got my network switch plugged into that. Slightly annoying, but I only have one plug socket in the wall here, so it'll have to do. Okay, next item. The mixer has finally arrived, and unfortunately I can't use it yet. You see, it arrived, but I didn't realise, you see the person I bought it off said that they had included a power lead. What they didn't mention is that they just included a generic kettle lead, which is not what this takes. It takes a very specific power adapter. So I've had to order one of those. I paid for it yesterday, so in theory it should be on its way soon. The seller has kind of dragged their feet a little bit. I did purchase it from the manufacturer of this rack, this mixer. And it wasn't really simple. They sent me an invoice and I had to pay with the invoice, but it took them ages to get to that point. So I'm a little bit annoyed. I could have had the power adapter by now, probably. But hey, at least I've managed to source one, so that's better than I was doing, because I literally could not find a suitable power adapter anywhere else, and thank goodness they still had some. So further updates on this as events warrant, but just as a quick little rundown, it's got an XLR thing at the front. Oh, interestingly, it can also take, hold on, it can also take this big boy. I wondered why it was such a weird shape, but there we go. If I wanted to plug a mic into there, then I could do. Or, XLR will do the job. Not that I have any XLR equipment, so I don't know how much value that's going to be. But it also has 6... It's got 6 inputs, 2 of which are further XLR mics. So practically for me, it's only got 4 inputs. But, I mean, that's fine. 6 was already overkill. And the way I see it currently, I don't really see myself having more than 2 computers in this at any one time. So 2 is acceptable. And you can set it to different zones, which is really cool. I like this a lot. And the main thing for me, I can plug some headphones in the front, which was really important. Because whenever I'm streaming from this thing, invariably there'll be some degree of audio lag for you guys. This means I can bypass that and just listen straight to the computer, which is great. Next thing you already know about the KVM switch, it works. Well, actually, there is a slight update on that. So I bought special KVM cable, and it looks perfect, doesn't it? You get VGA and PS2, and then on the other end you get VGA and PS2. But something that I didn't realise, and this is the importance of measure twice, cut once, it wants male to male PS2, because this has got female ends, and, for example, your computer has female ends. So this has male to female. Therefore, this is completely useless to me. So, I mean, I have got a return in place. Hopefully that'll come through. It says that they're really busy and they're having to return a lot of stuff at the moment, so I'm hoping that will sort itself out, basically. And I won't have wasted my money. Not that they were mega expensive, but really they were more expensive than you would expect to pay for such a cable. But I've ordered some more suitable ones now, so it's all good. It's all good. And I guess the final thing then is my computer, which is very exciting indeed, because this is my Windows XP machine. Now you may be thinking, hold on a minute, you've taken it from a massive, delightful, I might add, desktop tower case. Well, it wasn't massive, but it was ATX sized, so it was pretty big. And you've managed to cram it all into here? And yes, I managed to literally cram it all into here. The top of this is staying on only by sheer willpower, I think. Yeah, it's not ideal. I'll go into why. But I mean, the thing is, it all fits, which is great. Unfortunately, I do have the problem that the way I've set it out, and the way I've had to set it out, the graphics card currently has about maybe 2mm of clearance above it. That's all the ventilation it gets. So, at the moment, it does get kind of warm to the touch. Now, part of the reason for that is because there are a bunch of nice 80mm fans around here in the case, but because my chosen motherboard is a little bit crappy, it only has one fan header, and it's only a 3-pin fan header, and all the fans in here are 4-pin. So while technically I could plug in one fan, well, it wouldn't really be enough, would it? So my goal, first of all, is to get them plugged in. Alongside the KVM cables, I've also ordered an adapter so I can plug in, I think, 5 fans into one header. We'll see how that goes. And hopefully that'll be okay. I do have designs on replacing some of the coolers as well. I want to replace the stock Intel cooler in there, the CPU cooler, with a Be Quiet Silent Rock. It's a low profile sort of cooler, and I think that will do a lot better. I will need to measure it, of course, just to make damn sure that it'll fit, because I should point out there is a graphics card directly above the CPU cooler. Oh god, it's terrible. Yeah, and on a similar note, I'm planning on replacing the front fans in here with Be Quiet ones, because I think they'll do a lot better than whatever cheap generic stuff they've got in there at the moment. But the main thing is, it powers on. And just to prove that it does, I think, yes, my monitor is on number 7. Everything else is connected. Like I say, the KVM switch is not operational at the minute, so I've just got the PC plugged straight into this. And voila! Check it out. We've got Windows XP. I'm sure that's all the proof that you need that it's working. And I did do a quick and not very extensive test of the temperatures in this thing. The GPU gets to about 77 degrees at the moment, but that was only in The Sims 2, which I don't think is massively intensive. So that's a bit troubling. Pardon me, a bit troubling, unfortunately. Hopefully getting better fans and actually ventilating this properly will at least mitigate that. But yeah, it's a bit of a concern. When it comes to doing the final video for this, I will go into more detail as to why this didn't work out the way I wanted it to. But essentially, well, it's got something to do with this thing. This is a replacement backplate for this case. Except it's not really for this case, it was for a different case. And there are no pictures of that on the website that I bought it from. I thought it'd be okay, but it turns out when I install that, there's then nowhere that I can install the motherboard, so it would have had to be floating around, and I also didn't have a suitable power supply. It'll make more sense when I'll go into it when I finish this and I make the video on it at the end. When that's going to be, I have no idea, but because this project seems to be going on a bit longer than I thought. But the fact that I'm doing it now, it's getting done quicker than I would have imagined anyway, so whatever. I'll just have to be a bit more patient. Oh, another thing, I did order some rails for this case. You'll notice it's sat at the bottom at the moment. I ordered some rails and they were too damn big for this rack. And not knowing exactly how they mounted into this thing, I didn't realise that them being too long would be an issue. So, and there was a reason I bought slightly longer ones, because I thought, well, it's better it being longer than it being shorter than the case, because then it's not even going to go across the whole thing. So that was my rationale. But no, it was too long and I physically just couldn't mount it. So that was fun. I've returned them as well. And hopefully they'll get shorter rails in soon because they're out of stock at the moment. But yeah, I think that's about it. So that's status update number 2. Hopefully I'll have number 3 and I'll be able to show you this working and this working. And it's all going to be swell. Until then, bye.